we're trying to look like we're professionals around here. But anyways, yeah. What was the question?
Matchmaking testing to start Monday is the last I heard.
As early as Monday.
As early as Monday?
Yeah, I think. Well, Jerry is supposed to have a version up for testing on Monday. But with something as big as that, I'm anticipating, some stuff getting messed up in deployment or whatnot. So I would say as early as Monday, but sometime next week.
All right. And for we've already had a lot of sign-ups, so we still have some space left. So I'm going to give out the link. If you want to be part of the matchmaking testing, this will also give you access to the dev app permanently. So everything, all the cool things we do, they first go in there to be tested, and you'll be on the forefront of all of that. So the link is now in the chat.
We have some players, well, actually just one player. Actually, his name is Swallow, last night saying to us that he's skeptical that we can give all the dev app keys away. So prove him wrong. Prove him wrong. We actually give out quite a few, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. We're really excited. Hopefully this will be the biggest scale testing that we've done since alpha. So it'll be, hopefully it'll be a lot of fun.
And also we've got the secret event happening next Friday. It's gonna happen right before the Dev Fireside Chat. Not gonna give away any hints about that, but we're really excited.
No, yeah, I'm keeping silent on this one.
Yeah, I know. I can't say anything. Might riddler it and give away something accidentally.
It's Sky Whales.
Yeah, just check out the gunsoficarus.com website during next week, and you'll get a better idea of what's going on.
All right, and so Golden Glad asking, is there a difference between the dev app and production? Well, right now there's not, because the dev app was used to test this last patch, and then next week it's going to be updated with the matchmaking. For everyone who signs up through the link I put out, and anyone who's in the Steam Experimental Crew group, you're going to get an announcement when it happens, so you know, like, here's when to sign in, here's when you'll have other players to test with. So no worries, we're not going to sneak it out on you guys. Not afraid about everyone playing the dev app. We are not. I mean, we're definitely going to be pulling players from production into the dev app, but I mean, this is something that it's really important that we test. We don't want to put it out there untested because it's going to change basically how everyone plays the game.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to try to coordinate some time or some session times where we can get as many people in dev app as possible, just to during those times. So we can test, because I mean with the matchmaking system, right? I mean we need some volume to even begin to really analyze the data that we're going to produce. So there's going to be set time. We're not expecting everybody to be in dev app all the time, but there's just going to be some times where we want as many people in as possible.
Yep, and you'll as we've said before, you'll be the times will be known to you, and also on the sign up sheet it says what times are good for you, and I'm going to use that data to figure out when we should actually test, like what times are actually good for our player base. So it won't be at like 1 a.m. unless we have a lot of people who are in that time zone who say, listen, we're going to be there at 1 a.m. Can you let everyone know, kind of thing.
That's right. We're collecting data like true professionals. That's what we're trying to do.
Button up shirts, data collection, it's a whole new muse.
Oh my god, okay.
So what will the matchmaking system work on? So rank or what?
So everyone will be given a rating, of course. This rating will not be visible to players. It'll be just used by the matchmaking system itself. It'll be completely invisible to players. We already have a way to infer on what your initial rating should be based on historical data. So when everyone jumps into matchmaking when it launches, they'll have some kind of rating already associated with their account. The rating will, of course, get more accurate the more matches you play. So the first thing you want to do when matchmaking drops officially is get in, play, maybe 5 matches, and your rating should be pretty accurate to your skill level. And the whole impetus for this is to ensure that the people, your enemies are around the same skill level as your team. So preventing team stacking as much as possible.
And so what happened to the globe and other map textures?
The globe is back. There was a data issue. Like we did a whole big refactor of how region and map data was handled, and so Periton, Rumble, and Labyrinth are literally the same map with one or two differences. In Periton, in 134 actually had a globe in it, which it was not supposed to have a globe. So that was fixed, but there was an error with the data saving mechanism in Unity 3D that made the globe missing in Labyrinth. But Periton was fixed, but that's all dealt with now. And as soon as I heard about that, I put a fix in like 15, 20 minutes. So textures, you'll have to be a little bit more specific. Take some screenshots. There should have been no changes to textures as far as I know. But yeah, definitely take a screenshot, submit it to feedback, and we'll take a look at our asset bundles and see where the error is.
And then Brian's asking, I'd like to help you, but can we work some kind of easy streamlined group thing so we can bring in legions of gents? There is actually the Guns of Icarus experimental crew, and there will be announcements through that as well. So if that's what you're talking about, I'll grab a link for you here in just a moment. If not, let me know, and I'll figure out what we can do.
Yeah. So since everyone is getting the dev app keys right now, and that's being heavily advertised, yeah, definitely. The best way is, yes, join the experimental crew, but also you will gain access to, once you install dev app on the forum, you'll get a special access dev app forum. I use that all the time, every day. I always check that. And that's where a lot of the balance stuff happens. I'm talking to Zill, Byron Cavendish, Sammy BT, whole ton of guys about the changes that go in from patch to patch. And of course, I always like to hear feedback from all types of players, from casual all the way up to competitive. So everyone's help is greatly appreciated.
And then we have someone asking, with matchmaking, how are clans supposed to recruit new players? Cake very commonly helps out new players and recruits them into that pool. It sounds like that will no longer be possible.
No, with matchmaking, you'll still be. I mean, the way that the system works is that it'll try to balance your team. So your team could be comprised of people who are lower level than you. It's entirely possible. But of course, it'll try to get everyone as the same rating. We've heard these concerns before, and we're going to try to investigate how we can incorporate new player discoverability. I mean, first is testing if matchmaking even just works, period. Then we're going to move on to the more community-related issues, and we've actually begun designing a lot of community-related features that will come in later as well.
Yeah, and it's also something to think about is that we obviously, for moderation purposes, will need to make sure that we some CAs or whatever who are more hands-on, who are helping us with moderation and stuff like that, to have access to different matches, right? So one of the ways we're thinking about is potentially expanding sort of the idea of like teachers that we currently have, and so we can essentially grant people like access to really different levels of matches that are going on for just really for teaching purposes. So it's something that we're definitely thinking about.
All right, and then will matchmaking remove lobby choosing? It will. He's talking about it'll break a lot of core community functions. But so removing it, we're still going to have ways for community events to happen. I mean, we've got a lot of great tournaments starting up. We're not going to, on our end, completely stop that from happening. We want to support that as much as possible.
I think with just specifically with community events, right? I mean, not only are we designing ways for you to create community events, but also advertise. I mean, right now, granted, we implemented feature matches, right? For that to go to the top of the match list. There really isn't a way the integrated way that we're advertising community events right now, there's really not a whole lot of mechanisms in place for us to actually give those matches a proper shout out that they deserve. So with the new system, we're actually doing a little bit more, not less, I would say.
Is it possible to turn on and off skill matchmaking for your individual lobby? No. But and correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, but the way the matchmaking will work is we'll go for as close to skill possible as close to your skill as possible, and then expand as time goes on. So just because you're the only person there, you're not left out of the entire community.
Yeah, I mean, if we're worried about friends play, in team and whatnot, so matchmaking is going to be balanced with crew formation, and crew formation right now I would say it's pretty buried, right? I mean, it's a little bit more buried and disjointed. So we're actually gonna try to make that part of the flow.
Yeah,
more
basically,
prominently.
if you want to play with your friends on the same team, or even I won't get into that because I don't remember the specifics. But let's say I have a group of me and 3 other friends. We'll use crew formation, form a ship, and then we'll go into matchmaking, and they'll find another ship or however many ships, like 3v3, 4v4, and try to balance that way. Or if I have even more people, I play with an entire team, then matchmaking will try to find an appropriate enemy team to fight against. So crew formation will be definitely brought into the forefront, especially if you want to play with your clans or your friends and still use matchmaking. You'll still be able to do that. But for community events like teaching, dev hour, and stuff like of that sort, or just your entire custom match, we're still going to make that available to you. It'll be similar to how you create a match now. You'll pick the map, you'll pick which slots, but we won't advertise that out to anyone in a match list. You'll have to invite your friends in. So you can play an entire tournament just like that by inviting everyone in from your friends list. So a lot of the same functionality will still be there, and you'll be able to play how you want to play. It's just a degree of which functions are now at the forefront now that we want people to go into matchmaking as much as possible.
All right. What if 1 or 2 of these friends want to swap with others? Will they need to leave the lobby and form another crew?
So if they're talking about switching between across teams, matchmaking won't support that. I mean, there'll probably be a way to do that at post, end match. We're also designing a new end match area that'll help facilitate some of these social features, just like talking to people or like friending other people and stuff like that. But switching places across from ship to ship on your own team is more feasible as far as matchmaking is concerned.
Mm-hmm. All right. Will I ever be able to see my own ranking in the future if I wanted to?
That's a good question, and it's a pretty contentious one because, again, ranking doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot, at least we think mean a whole lot to individual players or the community as a whole. It just try to establish like, oh man, this noob team is not getting stacked against. That's the main concern we have here. So it's just about like your proficiency of play. Whether or not we make that available, it really depends, and how we have to think. I mean, there are a whole bunch of ways those numbers can affect and how people play. It certainly doesn't necessitate more cooperative play. But it's something to think about.
Let me sort of take a step back, right, and look at just the whole idea of quote unquote stack team. So obviously some veteran players would be concerned that apparently we're trying to tackle this this vice of stack team, and it's really sort of a way to circumvent team play, or a way to basically sort of do things for newer player at the expense of veteran players, at the expense of like punishing veteran players even. I mean, I mean that's really that can't be furthest from how we approach the situation, right? I mean, the way we look at it is that it's really to me the issue is really about match imbalance, right? And so it's really more about like stack team in and of itself is great, right? But I mean, it's just really sort of like matching people with the right skill level to play against each other or to play with each other, right? So it's like, it's not like, oh, we are favoring one group of player at the expense of another group of player. It's really just to look at, the idea of, team balance or match balance holistically. So I kind of just want to make that point. So it's not like, we're looking at, team stacking is some bad word that, we're tossing around the office, whenever we swear at Matt or whatever. It's like, yeah, team stacker, that kind of thing. But it's really more just looking at basically just overall balance, of the match experience and trying to improve upon that.
And Suryash clarified his point a little bit. So, like, friends can just swap slots. Like, when one player goes off, and another person can jump into his slot.
Oh yeah, in that case, well, one, if the player leaves, like at some point during the match will continue. Because right now, even if you jump off, we can't replace you during mid-match. So when the match ends, there will be, again, this is the whole match end redesign. There'll be a bunch of different features where you can like choose to, go into matchmaking again with the same teammates or rematch, or invite a friend in. It'll be very similar to how the crew slots work right now. But again, we're trying to promote and bring back a lot of the social features that we lost with matching back in through the end match screen, basically end match lobby. So like imagine right now, like when you end a match, you go back into lobby. It'll be something like that, but we'll have a couple more features for you to play around with to get to know people and play with them again.
And what happens with matchmaking when I've got a friend and we're both captains and we don't have any crews? Will the rating be used together to try to find matches, or will my friend who's less experienced in the game have a crew made up of players at his level or our combined level?
It really depends on the number of players in the game concurrently waiting in queue. Of course, it'll try to. First of all, the main thing about the matchmaking is that it'll try to balance the team. So every player on the team, their ratings are averaged. So they're trying to balance the teams themselves. That is the most important thing. This is where imbalanced teams come from, because one is they're new players, one is they're veteran players, and that's what we want to avoid. So depending on who's on, maybe your crew will have people who are a little lower level than you, maybe a little higher, but at the end of the day, your team overall average score will be matching that of your enemy teams.
Yeah. And how will games with uneven number of players be ranked? So like one captain with 3 AI ship versus 4 players ship. Like if people quit or something, how will that affect the player's rating?
Yeah, we're definitely taking those into account. However, we're going to highly prioritize getting full crews in. So actually this will make, so a lot of the difficulty is, okay, the match list, right? Sure, there's a lot of options that you can choose from, but those options, in a sense, make it harder to start full matches. So the matchmaking system will just, funnel players towards you, and at the same time try to balance the team. So actually, it'll be much better. There'll be hopefully fewer instances where people have just AI crew. Of course, if someone leaves, we'll have to take that into account, which we are.
Mm-hmm. Alex is saying matchmakers rarely improve things, at least for players who like a communicative crew. I don't know, if they're on your skill level, I assume they're going to talk to you more, because the people who talk more do better. So.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of hoping that if you pair up people with the same. Okay, let me take another step back. I think to tackle a number of issues such as team match balance, whatever. There are really multiple angles that we're taking. So matchmaking is what? So meaning that while pairing, say if you're a veteran player, we want to be able to find other veteran players to play with you, other people who know what they're doing, preferably, right? And if everybody knows what they're doing, the communication obviously, it's a core gameplay experience, and hopefully, people will be more inclined to communicate with each other if people are on different time zones, different countries, whatever. then at least crew command, voice command can be an option, for example. So I mean, I think in that sense, the issue of like people not talking to each other is really no better or worse, I feel, than how it is now, which is like you hop into a match, you can potentially form with other veteran players, right? Otherwise, you form your own crew, which is essentially finding people that you like to play with. Having said that, that really, whatever we're doing with matchmaking, it doesn't really fundamentally address the issue of how new players learn to play the game. And so for that, we know that we need something else, which is, to continue to improve on the ways that new players learn how to play the game. So right now, if you look at the tutorial, some of the things that we don't have are, for example, teach people how to use voice chat, or there's not the most direct way of teaching people how to.
I'll be back. I'm shipping out Kickstarter stuff. Give me a couple minutes.
To pair up the different guns, to teach people better about hull armor being down and whatnot. So we're, in addition to matchmaking, we also have to take a step back and look at how tutorials being worked on as well, and so that we're also doing. So I think the idea to keep in mind is that we're not using matchmaking as a way to say, oh yeah, this is basically a all-in-one vitamin or something that you can take where it solves all anything and everything that's related to the game. But we do think that it will help, but it has to be complemented with other stuff that we're doing. So I mean, I would say that just is one part of the solution, albeit a big one. But it's not everything. It's not like a total cure all.
And Brian's asking asked before, worried about recruiting players into clans and setting up practices. We're actually looking at updating the entire community side of Guns of Icarus. I actually got to work on the spec this week, and it was a lot of fun. And a big thing is making sure that clans, like the leaders and the officers of it, have tools to recruit people, and just players have the tools to find these clans and request to join in, so they can organize bigger clans, bigger events, more training, more practice.
Yeah, I mean, right now, there is no clan system in the game, so we can't do worse than nothing, right? So I think the idea is to actually do something, and the something that we're planning for, I think, is pretty exciting. It's something that the competitive players, the clans, have been asking for a long time, and then some. So I mean, it's going to take us time to work out the kinks and actually to think through the implementation, which is what we're doing now. I mean, we haven't really implemented anything yet, but it's really more at the design phase. But I mean, I would say right now we have nothing because all the clan system exists outside of the game, and so I think it can only help and it can only improve because right now we start with 0. Mm-hmm. We're starting with 0, so.
And will Musasaurus seriously compete in the new tournament?
Yes, I think we will seriously compete in the tournament. How successful we will be, well, it's to be determined. I mean, I think that's contingent upon how great of players we can recruit, because obviously we can't hit the broadside of the barn, so it's really contingent upon how we recruit, really.
Just add heat seeking back onto Artemis for our ships, and we'll do well.
Oh, are we talking about losing?
Yeah, we were asked if we were going to compete in the new tournament. So, well, seriously compete. So.
Yeah, we need gunners, man. We need people who can shoot. We need people who can fly. We need people who can repair stuff. So, if you're one of those, if you fall into one of those 3 categories, let us know.
Because, frankly, I can't carry all 3 by myself.
Meta's giving you a lot of sass in chat, Howard. It's beautiful. What he's saying is seriously competing is Howard signs us up and then doesn't show up.
Oh, what the? I show up, man. I show up.
There was at least one time that it was just you signed us up without telling us, and then it was just me and Meta.
Actually, it was twice in a row.
That was the only twice. Dude, Meta, man, I play with Matt. Well, I play with Matt and just all AI. Where were you then? Where were you then?
All right. I'm going a little bit too far in my sassing you.
Well, I can't see what you're saying, so I can't be hurt by.
You can't, can you? Okay.
No, yeah, no. I was the one who brought it up because I thought it was worthy of attention.
Yeah, my yeah. My mic picks up too much echo, so you can say whatever you want.
So what will Muse be doing then? For the tournament, we don't go in there with plans or techniques. We go in there with heart. or like the fifth Planeteer, the just least effective small Indian boy.
Dude, he has the best power though.
Heart.
He's gonna get all the ladies later on.
Yeah, I wish I could talk to my dog. I wonder what he thinks. It's the best
What's
power.
Wheeler gonna do? Burn stuff?
Yeah, seriously.
Light a hobo trash can fire in New York?
Yeah, it was. Ryan was saying it was the Invalen conflict that happened. So, and I guess the next thing to talk about is co-op, because more work's been done there. 1 week closer.
Yep. We have. I mean, we played co-op for the first time, so we have something. There's something. There's something.
There's something for sure.
There's something. It's pretty hilarious, actually, but there's something. So, for I want to say, I don't know how many months, there's really nothing to show except for, the lines of code on Alex and Tom's screen. Now we have something.
So, how does it look? I mean, something's pretty vague. They're gonna. Everyone wants to know. Like.
Yeah. I obviously everybody wants to know. I posted that Facebook comment, and people kind of, when I would say crazy, right? I mean, our scale, nobody goes crazy, but people definitely clamoring for more results, more evidence that we're actually doing something and not just partying the money away.
I don't get it. Why do people always think that?
Well, you have to look at a lot of other Kickstarters that nothing ever happens with.
I guess.
Dude, look at the place that we're in. Okay, look at the drab walls with no heat and whatnot.
No, in fact, these are all.
Holy shit.
We're actually on a set. We're actually partying in the Bahamas. Right now. So we bring these sets with us. So we've actually used your Kickstarter money.
Colombian cocaine.
Yeah. Stacks of it. We've been using this cocaine and we turned it into cocaine walls.
I'm tired of eating at food trucks and Subway all the time, man. I want to go to Chipotle. Damn it.
That's when
I'm
Muse
gonna
is made
take out
into
a can of caviar straight from Sochi.
What Tim
Talk
and I
about corruption.
What Tim and I were thinking? So we were thinking about so there's this steakhouse. It's called Delmonico's. It's really famous downtown. It's it's been around for 100 whatever years, right? So we've been thinking about this for a long time, right? So for one time, once, because we can only pull this off once, right? We just go in as a group. So 6 people would just go in. We'll order one steak. Everybody would have 1 or 2 bites and would leave and go to food truck again. So they could taste it.
Well, let me.
Yeah, maybe people it's just people. I mean, I think it's great that people hold us accountable. By the way, because people pledge money, their money, and money is everybody money is tight and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's great that people are trying to hold us accountable and be really diligent about asking how we're doing and everything. But sometimes I feel like it's really sort of a judgment call on our part, right? It's we want to show people as much progress as we can, but on the other hand, we don't want to show you something that's super dingy and crappy. That's still super work in progress, where you can't see either from the line of code or something you do a super early prototype, and you can't see that vision. In whatever work that we're doing, right? You can't see the point A to point B, the path that we're taking. If that's the case, then I feel like there's really no benefit there. Showing you rough stuff. So it's really kind of a tightrope. I mean, we're always walking between like trying to be super transparent, but still withhold, a little bit of, I wouldn't say like even secrecy, because I mean, I can't keep a secret, right? But some semblance of like, basically something that will still represent a semblance of like, the quality that we want to put out. So it's always a tough balancing act. But on the other hand, I don't even mind like people auditing our books, even, to be honest. I mean, but like, we're not spending money on, champagne, or whatever. There's nothing even to celebrate. So we're not really in the habit of wasting money, because most of this game is built with our own money, right? The money that we made, money like, that I took out of my savings or whatever. I mean, so it's, we're not in the habit of wasting money to begin with. Just ask Tim trying to buy something on like the asset store for like $7 or something, like we're really not in the habit of wasting money.
Yeah, I mean, like, literally, the money that was put into Kickstarter, a lot of it is going back to Kickstarter as far in the form of, like, shipping stuff out. Like, I just sent out another, like, 70 things today. Like, that's why I was out for a second. I think I, like, charged, like, I don't know, a couple $100 worth of, stamps and stuff like that. And, that's how much it costs, so... it's all going back. No cents are being wasted. We are working hard for reals.
Yeah, and I mean, I did buy a couple bottles of Cristal here and there, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah, we invited Jay-Z to come in tonight. No big deal.
But anyways, well, I think what were we talking about? I forgot. We went off on a total tangent.
We were talking about co-op mode, and then we took a couple
okay,
hops.
Yeah, co-op mode. So what were we talking about? Progress. Yeah. So I mean, we got a new bill with the essentially a level and AI director. So like as far as what we're working on, obviously there's a lot of things that we need to perfect. Some performance, some AI logic tuning. Actually, there's a lot of it, right? Performance-wise, Alex is trying to figure out, trying to see just how much, like, how epic, like, what's the limitation of epic? And there's a lot of work with AI director and like level design that that Eric and Alex are working on. Eugene's actually designing an actual level now. Now that we actually have stuff, and not like some, just ghetto assets that we're throwing together. Yeah, exactly. So a lot of things going on. Obviously, there's going to be more asset work as well, and so that's about to start. So, we have 2.5 months to put out something presentable. So it's going to be, we'll be doing a lot. But I think there's a baseline there.
To put it in another way, this is the first time that all of us got into co-op and tried all the moving parts working together. So there's the AI director, there's just spawning enemies, there's pathfinding for all the enemies, it's reacting with the terrain, how big a map should be, what does it feel like with 3 other ships working with you for the first time, and can I even see the boxes that are flying at me? How big do the planes need to be? How big are these boxes? How fast do they need to move? So there are a lot of questions that we have to ask ourselves, and this is the first time we've actually seen all the things in motion. So we already have a pretty good idea of like what the next step should be. So it's just finally really nice to have something super tangible. And once we get that to maybe another 2 iterations of polish, we'll probably put a video together and show everyone what's up.
Yeah, we were basically totally dodging your question, lulling you to sleep with these long tangents. But because I mean, the question is, can you guys see videos and screenshots? I mean, that's really what you guys want. And right now, I would say not at the moment just yet, but you will see a video of some sort. If you're a Kickstarter backer, you will see a video next week. I'm sorry, by next weekend. Or the following week, you'll see a video, but it's going to be more about how we're going about making, doing what we're doing, but not a video of like how the bill is played. Like that, I would ask for a little bit more time. But if you want evidence that we're actually doing something, that video will prove that we're actually working on something.
Yeah, I mean, like Matt's been doing an awesome job in getting like weekly updates from everyone in the office and posting it on their blog. Like some of the photos there is just basically what we have. It's like we have those like ugly mossy walls and like Arashi Corvettes. Like that's all in there. Those things are happening. Anything more on that is just like, well, no, it's not that much different, to be honest. That's literally the update. You can look at it there. It looks like that.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, at least for me, it's not like entirely too impressive to like look at. I don't know how it is for players and supporters and stuff like that, but so when we say it's like it's not ready, it's more of us like us being kind of coy. It's like this is not super polished yet, and being self-conscious and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Even reality TV don't go into the bathrooms and like when the lights are off, lights are off, right? So
yeah, we need to put on our makeup first, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
we need people to tell us we're pretty.
Yeah, before these Dev Firesides, we use all the money that you give us. We hire professional makeup artists, and we have a whole like makeup studio behind us. We spend like an hour and a half of our day getting dressed up and stuff like that. And our wardrobe designer, asked us to put on shirts today and stuff.
So if you've ever wondered why my hair looks so good when my
he gets
webcam works.
Yeah, like he gets a blowout, every day before the Dev Fireside, so it all works out.
I know this fellow named Waleed in Concord, Massachusetts. He runs a salon called American Beauty. He will hook you guys up, especially you, Occam.
Oh yeah, totally need that.
So back to the champagne. A player is asking, do we have any company parties ever?
Yeah, we did. We had. What do we do? Well, we had a Christmas party. God damn it! Like, so there was no. The heat was off that day though. It was freezing. Everybody had their jacket on. We kind of huddled around. So Tim and I got a Christmas tree. So we got a Christmas tree. I think it cost us like $50. I mean, it was like pretty expensive, right? So, but the thing is, like, we lugged it. Two of us got it at some place outside of Whole Foods, or like across the street, or no, next to Whole Foods or something. It's like some stall that's selling Christmas tree, whatever. So we got it and we lugged it all the way like back.
Yo,
so
$50 is pretty cheap, man.
Is it?
Yeah, those trees cost like hundreds of dollars in the Upper West Side. They're expensive, like $150.
Yeah, well, I guess we got a deal then. Like, so we lugged it in the subway, so we had a tree in the subway.
Oh shit!
Like, right in the subway.
Wow.
You were some guy's Reddit
You're
picture.
one of those
I bet.
guys.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh man, and then we had a what is like white elephant, but it, thing like when people steal each other's gifts and stuff. So we like each spent like up to $20, and we did some like gift exchange, but it's like the gift exchange or the backstabbing kind. It was pretty awesome. I loved it. But I think this year was more tame. We did it last year. It was awesome. People were backstabbing.
Well, no,
each other,
it was
like,
one guy who was stealing everyone's gift, and he wasn't here this year, so
it was Chris.
It was Chris, man.
Yeah,
he was just like trolling people the whole time. It didn't happen this year. He wasn't here.
No,
so.
but there was like there were a ton of people just we were like just totally like stabbing each other in the front or back or whatever. But this year it's just really tame. Like Alex stole. I mean, I'm pretty proud and pretty happy. I'm kind of flattered that my gift was like the only one that people stole. So.
Yeah, it was because it was like a tea thing, and Alex loves his tea as well, so he's totally going to take it.
See, I know what everybody wants. So that's I think that's it. And then I think we had an anniversary thing, did we? Sort of.
Oh shit! Remember. I still need to get reimbursed for all that booze I bought for Christmas.
Shit, reimburse it from like the people who.
Oh, okay. Is that how we do it?
I don't know.
All right. I'll get everyone to chip in.
Yeah, we did. I think I don't know. For anniversary, I think we did a thing.
It's like the parties we throw are so like whatever that we don't even remember. I think we did
put up a couple balloons. That was a party.
Yeah, that's about it. We'll get like a couple sixers of beer, and it's like, all right, party.
Your idea of a wild night is stirring a spoonful of regular coffee in with a decaf?
Usually people usually I think people like party when they launch a game, right? Yeah, it's not us. It's not us.
Yeah, we were streaming our launch. That was the party.
No, that was like 4 weeks after launch.
No, that
Oh,
was
yeah,
that was
was
4
it?
weeks. No, that
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
pretty.
we couldn't because
Oh,
when
yeah.
we launched it was Hurricane.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was as soon as possible after that, though, because I remember Josh and his full steampunk get up.
Yeah, I think that would be like 4 or 5 weeks after launch, actually.
Yeah, so it's not even a launch party. I don't even know what it is.
So, anyways, yeah, sorry. Oh, we don't. We'll. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see, man. Like if we, maybe we'll plan some party or something.
Speaking of like parties and like maybe players coming, like we said at some point, I think like we always welcome you guys to drop by our office, which is great. But please let us know when you're dropping by, because one day we randomly got a call from security downstairs, like, oh, there's someone here, and we're like, who is this person? And it's like, oh, it's a player, and we're like totally, not ready. But we showed them around and stuff like that. But yes, please let us know. You can email us at like feedback@musegames if you want to drop by. Just so we know you're coming and you can get through security and stuff like that. That's all.
Yeah, and if you're from Europe or any, like basically if you're like not from the U.S. or even if you're from the U.S., right? You want to visit New York, just let us know what you want to do first. Like, don't go to Times Square on day one and eat at the Hard Rock Cafe or something, or at like Bubblegum Strip, all right?
Oh, dude, you have to eat at Guy Fieri's restaurant though.
No.
Flavortown, it's awesome.
Stop. Listen, that's almost like for Eric to say that. That's the same as me telling you to go watch 47 Ronin.
Although Keanu Reeves' directed movie Man of Tai Chi is awesome. Everyone should watch that. It's very good.
I saw that on my Netflix, thing, and I was just like, Keanu Reeves.
No, it's actually it's legit. It's very good.
Keanu Reeves legit nothing.
No, the guy who's in it. Not Keanu Reeves is whatever. He's just a tertiary character.
He's a director with a cameo.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
Fair
His
enough.
face is on. They're selling his face though on the
Whatever.
promo.
The guy who
that could
fights.
just easily be a marketing decision.
Yeah, the guy who fights. The guy who does the Tai Chi was a stuntman for The Matrix, and he became friends with Keanu Reeves.
Okay. I mean, I was gonna watch it, but I saw Keanu Reeves' face. I'm like, dude, I can't get troll. I can't. I am not getting
Are you
trolled.
saying
and
are you
directing a movie
saying
with
you
Mark
didn't see The Lake
By
House,
Keanu
the romantic comedy starring Keanu Reeves?
Dude, that was a remake of a Korean movie. They totally didn't get it.
It was
right.
a
I'm sorry,
terrible movie.
I don't want to offend Keanu Reeves fans here. If Keanu Reeves plays a retard in Love, then that's more convincing. I'm sorry. That's being politically incorrect. I apologize, but man, after seeing 47 Ronin, I was so pissed.
I can't believe you went. Like,
What were you expecting to see happen, if I may ask?
No, that's not derogatory against anybody with any like disabilities or anything. I'm just it's something against Keanu Reeves. That's it. Yeah.
Sad Keanu.
all right. So back to questions before we go into
And, the thing is like I went,
Howard.
I went with 5 friends and 4 of them fell asleep, and I'm the only one who's awake. So pissed. I sat through the whole freaking thing.
It's like that Statler and Waldorf bit. Wake up, you old fool! You slept through the show. Hey, who's the fool? You actually watched it.
Yeah. Hey, sorry.
So one of the questions we missed is, will there be Guns of Icarus toys? Are we going merchandising? We're going to go George Lucas on this? Plushy
know what?
Pyramidians?
I'm gonna put this on stream.
Okay. What is this?
No. Just give me a second here. Give me a second.
Okay.
1 second. Yeah, just ignore me for a second. Keep talking.
All right.
Oh, snap. Apparently Steam will highlight recently updated games. That's awesome, because we always update our game.
All right. You guys see that? Yeah. Put that on Twitch. Put that link on Twitch.
Okay, where did you give me this link? Oh, it's okay. All right, and nope. Come on, you are a terrible thing. There we go. Okay, so link is going up now. What
Cool.
is this link? Oh, a 3D
Done
printer.
answer. Yep, that answers your question.
All right.
Wait, Steam is putting up the most updated game. I guess we can go back to our old release cycle then. Because it would be the most updated game of all time.
Oh my god, we kill ourselves.
So a player is saying he's having a lot of trouble navigating the Pyramidion this patch. Like he runs from the main engine to the turning engine, and then he gets teleported back to the main engine over and over again.
What? That we haven't seen reports of at all. If that's happening, get us your log ASAP for sure. If you can take a video of it, that would be perfect. I want to see exactly how that happens. That's actually something we haven't seen before. I mean, the old bug was like, the Pyramidion engine. But this one we haven't seen before, so definitely want to take a look at that.
All right. And so it's now 3:46. So I want to start getting it in everyone's mind. The casual question to ask all of us. It can be pretty much anything. We'll answer it. So this one doesn't have to be guns related. If you have more guns related questions, feel free to ask them too. I'll try to get to as many as possible before we end. Those were the last main questions because once we got off matchmaking, there was someone asking a little bit about like what co-op mode will be, like because we made references to Left 4 Dead. So
Okay. So the reason why I make references to Left 4 Dead because it'll be a group of friends fighting AI-controlled enemies. So that's what we're going to have. You're going to be, a crew up to 3 other ships, 4 ships total, against a butt ton of enemy airships and aeroplanes. That's the basic gist of it. Of course, we're trying to incorporate a lot of the faction stuff. That's still being currently designed. I'm spending a lot of time in trying to make that as cool as possible, and make it as an introduction of things we could have in adventure mode whenever we get around to that. So it's looking to be pretty exciting actually as far as the faction related stuff so far. So that's pretty much co-op mode.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. I mean, we were like really concerned about our release cycle, making sure that we want to constantly have updates for players, and we want to update frequently and whatnot, right? But having since the last build, like having lengthened our release cycle, so far it's actually turned out to be great because we can actually now sort of take a little bit longer to evaluate and actually implement things that are actually much bigger than what we had before, like than what we had like time allotted for per sprint. So we're actually working on any number of like big systems and stuff. So I think it's like we were kind of worried about not being able to push like updates faster and whatnot, but it's turned out to be a really good thing for us.
And last couple questions. Will there be a difference in AI player style in high-ranking games and low-level games?
Oh yes, absolutely. Well, ranking aside, the AI will always cater to your team's level of play. That's what Left 4 Dead does. They're very famous for making things just hard enough because, of course, you don't want to be totally like stomped on, and you don't want to be like, oh my god, the AI is so stupid. I'm just going to run up to them, and they'll be looking in my face, and I'll just blow the crap out of them. That's stupid.
So I think they're talking about matchmaking, though.
Matchmaking.
Yeah, so like in like high-ranking matchmaking games and low-ranking matchmaking games.
Matchmaking will be slightly different in co-op mode because you're never playing against a human.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'll say.
Oh, you're talking about matchmaking for
Yeah. So will the matchmaking, if one of your players drops, will the AI be different in a high-level game, a high-rated game, versus a low-rated game?
Wait. This is for skirmish.
For PvP.
Skirmish,
or...
yeah, skirmish.
Okay. Probably not. I mean, the AI will be as intelligent, but not intelligent as it currently is. We can probably try to make improvements as we improve on just AI in general. But AI is probably going to be the same level of intelligence, which is not that high, as it currently is. I guess the caveat is I do believe that these veteran players control the AI much better than new players. So.
All right. And then the standard question getting sneaked in at the end: will there be any new maps, ships, or weapons coming up soon?
Still focus on co-op. So for co-op, yeah, absolutely yes. For skirmish, for PvP, that's going to be. We'll say that the priority is more on co-op. So that takes second priority to co-op right now.
Well, and for our final question, that's not the casual question. Have we ever considered free to play?
Yes. Have I considered it? Yes. I've considered it. In fact, Brian and I used to get into we used to debate the merit of this. Partly is because publishers love free to play, right? And so the debate of this came up a lot. I think fundamentally, it's not like we hate or ran against free to play or anything. I think it's really this. I mean, we're not, as a team, we don't. Let's just say, fundamentally, yeah, we don't really like free to play stuff. But it's also more like, we don't really. It's not like we're number crunchers, strictly. So we're not like the kind of team that say optimizes metrics or returns and how items are doing, blah blah. Just so. Just so okay, fine, we can make money off of free to play and selling stuff and selling items in game and whatnot, right? I mean, so we do, but it's really more to support customization because it ended up we will spend a month just to create a costume, it's not just that we don't believe in free to play. Because a lot of free-to-play games have done really well and whatnot, and there's some great free-to-play games out there for sure. But we don't. I guess it's not really our expertise. And secondly, I think since we're small, a lot of times I feel like free-to-play actually it's it takes more resources to attract to try to get that big of a player base in there to support a free-to-play game. And we're not really we're not that we're it's not like we know how to run ads and we can all of a sudden get 10 tons of players in. So I don't know. I guess free to play really just isn't that great of a fit for us.
All right.
And we don't really like free to play games. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Howard, this one's towards you. What are your thoughts on the UI improvements change? And this is Paul, and I'm going to ruin this last name, Belanger from Facebook. So
okay. All right, if you think that the UI is good or better now, then the good news is that it will be, I would say, much better because it's going to change quite a bit. If you think the UI is bad now, then the good news is that, well, it's going to change. It's going to change quite a bit. The reason why it's going to change is because there are a number of things. Right now it changes because we need to. We feel like it's time to remove quick join. At this point, it actually has more negative consequences than it has positive benefits. So get rid of quick join, and obviously that prompts changes to the UI. Hopefully that's a good thing. But going forward, it's going to change quite a bit because we're going to be accounting for co-op. We're going to. Obviously, with matchmaking, how we're doing co-op and how we're doing progression, and how we are integrating community and whatnot. There's how we're working on ship, customization, right? Cosmetic customization. Any number of things are going to change. So therefore, UI is going to go through another rev in a pretty big way. So I think, for me personally, I think the UI is better on the main screen, but we're nowhere near done.
And now we get to go casual question of the day. And so I'll ask the question, and someone asked that it be picked. So this is the first time casual question's been voted for.
Great. Swallow. Okay.
Are any members of the Muse team versed, practiced, or currently involved in any pen or paper RPGs, such as D&D, Shadowrun, Childish Things, etc.?
Oh yeah, totally. They're not on the call right now, but like Alex, our programmer, is really into pen and paper. So is our new guy Nathan.
Actually, Alex and Emily, they play.
Oh yeah, Emily played a kit.
They play every Tuesday. So.
Yeah, Em and Alex have a group going. They play together. So definitely there are people involved with this sort of stuff. We basically, if you name some sort of a game, there'll be someone in the office who has at least heard of it or has actually played the game or is into playing it. So
wait, but the person who's like into the Japanese school, high school,
Oh, I thought that was you, Howard.
No, that's Conrad.
Yeah.
Conrad left.
You set me up, man. You set me up. It's your own damn fault.
Nobody covers that genre anymore right now, so we have a.
Yeah, we don't have anyone who plays that.
Conrad went to he's basically do graphic novels specifically for that. Just like his true.
Well, the relationship stuff is like, I thought you were talking about the really explicitly rated games. I don't think anyone plays those.
Yeah, I don't think.
Oh no! He's specifically talking about the pen and paper ones. I know he's also asking for anecdotes about it.
Yeah, unfortunately, nobody right now has any expertise in that particular genre. But maybe that's something that we need to cover more.
Are you offering, Howard?
Wait. So anecdotes on pen and paper stuff?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, and I've got a few because I used to be really big into the pen and paper RPGs.
Dare you enter my magical realm?
No. More of things you should not do. So, I'm huge into 40K and the Warhammer universe. I love it, and there's a pen and paper game called Inquisitor, which is about this dark dystopian future where you play an Inquisitor who's secret police. Well, I was DMing for my friends, and we played it in middle school, on and off. But the closest map to me, because I needed a map, was the school map. So I made a campaign based off of a school in the future. Well, this game involves a lot of guns and violence. It's not a good idea to involve things involving school and guns. I got a very quick talk with a teacher who's like, I've heard that you're playing a game involving guns in the school, and that was an exciting week for me. So that is my anecdote about pen and paper RPGs.
For me, pen and paper extends into live role-playing games in general. From my experience, for people who are unfamiliar with acting or getting into character, then pen and paper fairly rigid rule sets are pretty good. You have the DM draws out a map, and you roll all the dice and stuff like that. Those are again good for people who are just learning. The more advanced levels of live role-playing games, not to say I'm outside swinging my sword, but still around the table and drinking coffee or beer or wine or whatever, is that the rule systems are fairly lax and people really get into their character. I watched one of my professors play one of his games, and he had a system based on tarot cards, and maybe I don't think there were any dice involved, but it was the most intense thing I've ever watched in my life. It was a group of 6 or 7 people in the room acting out their characters for a good an hour and a half or something like that. It was like watching a movie. It was crazy. So I think for those types of role-playing games to happen, the systems do need to actually be quite loose, but the players will take into account and internalize their own kind of rule system as well, based on their character. So I think that's really cool.
Meta, have you had any experience with pen and paper?
I was actually just mentioning this in the chat, but yeah, I actually started playing Dungeons and Dragons with second edition TSR, moved up to third, moved up to fourth. Currently, mostly playing 13th Age, which I find very good, mostly because it's a lot less, technical, more relaxed, or as Eric said, interesting on the fly and emotionally involved sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I also play a ton of Magic the Gathering, so I don't know if you would call that in the same genre as the other tabletop games mentioned, but it counts for something.
And Howard, do you have any fun stories, or did you never get into roleplay?
Not really. I mean, I don't really play. I mean, I would say like a long while ago. I used to a little bit, but not really. I haven't played in a long time.
Fair enough. All right, that was our casual question, which is what we end the Dev Fireside Chat on. We are going to be back next week, and we also have that special mystery event happening next week. So,
actually, hold on a second. There is one story I may have to share here.
Oh,
okay.
well.
Speaking of pen and paper role-playing games or face-to-face role-playing games in school settings, back when I was in high school in the early 2000s, there was somebody who was insisting on somebody in the science fiction club, which it may come as nobody's surprise that I was involved in high school. Shock and awe, I know, but somebody in the club wanted to set up a White Wolf role-playing campaign. And if you're familiar with the games that White Wolf was making and their style of writing in those days, you'd understand why this would be an issue. Because White Wolf's definition of maturity is roughly the same definition that a 12-year-old who just learned about swears for the first time has.
Awesome.
So we basically had to go to a faculty advisor to say, hey, how much content of this is disallowed on school grounds? And he just took one look at the book, being a big role player himself, and said, yeah, pretty much all of it.
Sign me up.
Anyway,
All right.
that's all.
So we will. Schools and role playing definitely don't mix, I think, is the moral of the story.
Which is really sad. It's really sad.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like a great thing, but a lot of fantasy is pretty violent, cursy, or provocative. So, all right. So that is the Dev Fireside Chat for the week, though. We're going to be back next week. Special surprise before the start. We're not allowed to. Oh, Howard's racing.
Wait,
okay.
Let me before we end, let me give a shout out to Cordy. Feel better.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I need more Cordy streams in my life. I miss the old Cogs ones. I need to see some special events casted by Cordy.
Yeah, feel better, man. Feel better, man.
And we will see you next week on that note with the special event. And we're gonna you'll see a couple more notes of that going up, but we're not gonna reveal any details about what's happening. Just that it will happen at 2:30 next Friday, Eastern Standard Time, on gunsofIcarus.com. Also, sign up for matchmaking testing. Gives you permanent access to the dev app. I'm going to put in the link again. We need as many people in there to test it as possible. And not just QWERTY, also Swallow. We loved you on his stream as well. Don't worry. We're not going to leave you out. And we will see you next week.
Well, besides which, Swallow's still providing us with quality visual entertainment, isn't he?